Hello, welcome sisters to our very first Art of Spiritual Living online retreat opening session. I am so excited to be here today. I'm so excited that you are here with us, and I'm super excited to be here with my mentor and friend, Amber Bonnici. Amber, you want to give a quick wave and say hi?
Hello, everybody. But Elizabeth, you didn't tell us your name, so I'm like, Elizabeth, you gotta rock your name and
Oh yeah, right. Thanks. Yes, and my name is Elizabeth Foley, and I'm so excited to get started, then dive in that I forgot to give all the prepper welcomes and introductions. Let's go. Anyway, I'm so excited to be here today. And before we dive in with Amber and I tell you all about what we're going to be doing with her, I want to first make sure that we have all of our materials. So we are going to be working with setting our intentions today for this event and for our time together. We're going to be doing that the creative way because that's how Amber does it. So make sure you have today, let's see, we need scissors, glue stick, pen, some collage stuff. I've got a magazine here and got some pretty scraps of papers and letters and things. And I'm going to have some sort of journal or, this can be anything, sketchbook, journal, composition book, whatever you've got on hand, whatever works for you. We're going to get this started today with setting our intention, and then this will be your container for your journey here with us on the Art of Spiritual Living online retreat. All right, so you've got all your materials and we are ready to get started. So the very first thing I want to do is I just want to lead us in a really simple breath practice so that we can all get present here together. So this practice that I'm going to lead us in is a little bit of something I've learned from working with Amber over the years, and then a little bit of my own practice, which comes a lot from Vipassana meditation I'm a practitioner of. So I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes with me for a moment and just bring your attention to your breath. Just noticing your breath as it's passing in and out of your body. Noticing your chest as it's rising and falling. Now noticing anything that's come before this moment, anything that's weighing on you or pulling on your energy. Let's take a deep breath in together. And as we exhale, just let that go. And now noticing anything that's coming in the future, anything you're worried about or nervous about, anything on your to-do list. Let's take a deep breath in together. And as we exhale, just let that go. And now let's take one final deep breath together, just bringing ourselves fully into this moment, right here, right now. I'm going to invite you all to keep your eyes closed for just a moment longer. And I'm going to share a reading with you. This is a poem written by Shiloh Sophia, and it's called Particle Prayer Making. Right at the edge of myself, the place where I end and you begin. Right there, in between the particles we are, there is another place. A place between places, a space between spaces, where spirit and matter meet, and where the miracles live within our reach, if we agree to reach. What are the thoughts we haven't thought yet? The ideas within our consciousness that although we have access, we don't quite know how to get into that field, where so much light becomes available, and we can see into the places we could not see into just moments before. This field of possibility is where the angels extend their wings, and where the stardust lingers, and we have a sense, it is here, right now, the divine intersecting with the human. We are, you are, the beloved is. I will meet you there, because there is no place I would rather be than beside you, particle prayer making, in the space between spaces. When we go back to our daily chores after visiting the mystical realm and are renewed, Our faces sparkle with heaven, and our family wonders where we've been. Even though we didn't even seem to leave the kitchen, the salty dough is still being kneaded in our capable hands. Right. That was Particle Prayer Making by Shiloh Sophia. So I'm going to invite you to open up your eyes, and I'm going to introduce Amber to you a little more officially. Amber is a creativity coach and creative business mentor. She helps women get their creative work out of their heads and into the world. She works with authors, artists, teachers, healers, creative business owners. She's also the host of the Women Unleashed Retreats, an online retreat that gathers tens of thousands of women every year. Amber is an artist. She began painting in 2010, and within 3 years, her award-winning artwork was featured in solo shows, the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women and Human Rights, and Artist Perspective. Amber is coming to us from the big island of Hawaii, where she enjoys painting, dancing hula, and hanging out with her husband and 2 adorable boys. And as I said before, Amber is a mentor of mine, and I wouldn't be here today sharing this work with you if she hadn't been guiding me and helping me every step of the way. So I'm super thrilled to share her with you today. And yeah, Amber, great to have you here.
Thank you. I am excited to be here, and it's fun to share space with you, Elizabeth. We were just talking before we hit record, and I was like, it's just so fun. We get to hang out like in a different way than we normally do. So just honored to be here, and really excited for you too. Like those of you who are here, who are like ready to like tap into, there's something that called you here, and like today we're kind of like anchoring in that a little bit for you to really be able to be open to receive what you're meant to receive during this online retreat with Elizabeth.
Yeah, awesome. So we are going to be using some creativity to set our intentions. And before we dive into that work, I just want to ask Amber a little bit about what your spiritual practice is and what spirituality means to you.
Well, gosh, that's a really big question, Elizabeth. My spirituality, right? No, it's well, sure, starting big. My spirituality, it's really shifted over the years, right? Like when I was younger, I would say that I was more connected to spirit through nature and just like a feeling that I had as a young child. And then I grew up in a very traditional religious context. I was pretty involved in my church and in mission works and all sorts of stuff, all the way through, on and off through college even. Yeah. And then there was a point where I started shifting. There were things that just weren't aligning with my beliefs anymore, right? And I was changing. I was growing, and I was shifting with my relationship with spirit. And so now my relationship with spirit is more one of intention, right? Of really being mindful, of being present, of recognizing that I'm living a life of co-creation. Whether I paint or when I'm speaking right now, that there's something bigger that I can always access that's there for me. It's like the big mama in the sky, or whatever you want to, whatever that is, but that sense of connection and belonging. And that's part of what I consider my spirit, like my connection to spirit. And my practice, I'd say, is I do everything from meditation to like pulling oracle cards, intentional creativity, writing. All those are part of my spiritual practice.
Awesome. I love that idea of co-creating. Your spirituality is all about co-creating. That's great. That's great. So tell me what you have in mind for us today.
Okay, so I was thinking about what part of what I think when we're talking about co-creating, I want you to think about like co-creating like this online retreat. Like instead of it being something that's just happening to you that you're like passively watching, like what if you could have like a hand in that, and you could be like, this is what I'm wanting, this is what I'm needing from it. And by like stating that intention, like holding like that intention, that you are able to guide it in some way, because that's the power that you have. We actually have that power. And so I'm first going to just take a moment. I want you to think, what made you sign up in the first place? Like, what was there? There was some tug. There was either some phrase in an email, or some image you saw, or somebody you trust recommended it. There was something that made you say, yes, this is something I want. Yeah. So I'm just for the moment want to invite you just to take a moment to like just pause and be like, there was some desire, some want, something that you feel is missing or that you're wanting more of. And just to sit in that for a little bit, just be like, okay, that's right. That's what I want. Yeah. Because there's gonna be stuff coming up, right? Like you'll see like it's time to watch the event and like life is gonna happen. Like, oh yeah, I'll get to that later, right? So I think it's important for us to remember that initial desire, that initial reason why you signed up, as like fuel for you during this online event. Because I find so much during, spiritual practice, just like actually working out, right? It's like you might have a desire, but it's like just like with working out, like it's not really a really important thing until it's like becomes a really important thing. And then it's like, oh crap, like I have diabetes. Now I really have to take care of my health, right? Sometimes spirituality can feel like that too. You're like, I'm good. I don't need to do my spiritual practice. And then like everything falls apart and you're like, oh crap, like I really need my spiritual practice, right? So it's important to hold that why piece. So thinking of that, I'm going to invite you on your journal. So it can be on the front cover of your journal, or if your journal isn't one that you can like do any sort of collage on, you can just pick the first page in your journal, okay? And I'm going to invite you to take a marker or a pen and just write down what are those things that could get in the way of you doing this retreat, of you spending time on your sacred practice. Just go ahead and write them down all over your journal. What are the things that you came up with, Elizabeth?
I was just thinking there's definitely no shortage of things that could get in the way, right? My thing's time is a big one for me. Family obligations, not believing that it's important enough.
Yeah, I'm guessing that a lot of ours are the same. Yeah. So mine are kids. I blame my kids for stuff. Kids, my schedule, business, not important, tired, I want a break or I deserve a break. Those things are things that come up for me too. So I think it's important for you to recognize those things that are going to show up, right? It's not like we have a magic wand, like boom, magical practice. No, like there's stuff that we need to shift and work around in order to make our practice something that happens. Yeah. So we're going to leave this here for now, and like imagine that we're going to be doing a release process. So we're like moving some of this energy in order to make space for this retreat. Yeah, in order to make space for your spiritual practice. And in order to make space, you know there has to be some sort of release, some sort of letting go for new things to come. Yeah. So I'm going to lead us in a meditation, okay? Just a short meditation to tap you into your personal intention, what you're really like the deepest thing of what you're wanting. And then we'll be able to take some of that energy and bring it to your journal. So let's go ahead and do that. So get comfy, make yourself comfy. If you need to take a sip of whatever you're drinking, you can do that.
I love that owl mug you've got today.
This is my Harry Potter owl mug. Hedwig, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you're missing out. Harry Potter. All right, so just take a few breaths in and out. When you do any stretching, you can go ahead and do that. And we're going to go on a journey. And before we really start or get started, I just want to let you know that however you journey is just right for you. whether you see things when I'm talking in your imagination, whether you hear things or whether you just have a knowing, that's perfect. That there is no right or wrong way to do this. And even if you get no information, that's information for you. Okay, so let's let go of any expectation of it having to be a certain way and just head on to our journey. So taking a few breaths in and out. And just imagining that you're at a spiral staircase at the top of your head, and it moves all the way down through your body. And most of the time, you're living your life here at the top of your head and thinking, but we are moving into a deeper level of connection and of wisdom. So, starting to walk down that spiral staircase, letting your feet just move down the stairs, listening to them, the footsteps as you're moving down. Let your hand brush against the wall. Just noticing as you descend deeper and deeper into your body wisdom, leaving behind distractions, any thoughts. You continue walking down, you're passing your throat. You're passing the doorway of your heart, and you keep moving down, down, down until you reach the doorway, the center of your being. It's what the Hawaiians call your na'au, or your hara, your dantian, or your womb space. And there before you is a doorway. Just take a moment to notice if there's a certain color or shape, size. Are there any words, declarations, signs? And knowing that on the other side of this doorway, you're going to access that wisdom. You're going to connect to that deep, deep intuitive place, that deep intentional place. When you're ready, walking up to the door and pushing it open, and there on the other side is a giant meadow with a pathway right through the middle. And so you take a step after step after step along this pathway, feeling the breeze as it moves through the grass, noticing if there are any flowers, if you hear any birds. And you feel yourself pulled along this pathway. You come up over the top and start to walk a zigzag path down the hill. Down, down, down. You get to the bottom of the hill, and there before you is a great forest, and the path continues into the shadows of the forest, and you walk still pulled. You feel the temperature change. Listening to the sounds now, the forest sounds. You continue walking, and there a fork in the path, and you take the fork to the right today. You walk along this path, still being drawn forward, and there before you is a cave. And you know you're supposed to go in, so you walk into the cave. You feel again the temperature shift again where it's cool. You hear the drips of water on the walls. You're walking towards the back of the cave, and in the very back you start to see it getting lighter. So you pick your way carefully along the rocks, along the path, following that path around the corner where it gets brighter and brighter until there before you is a great room, wall of rock and cave, and above you is a giant opening with light streaming in. On the far side of the cave, you see a giant platform of stones. So you walk over towards the platform. And there before you is a great bowl filled with water. And at the corner of your eye, you see someone approaching, and you turn and look, and you recognize your wise, wise being, your wise self. She invites you to look into the bowl, to feel into your heart, to feel into your na'au. What really called you? What are you looking for? And so as you look into the bowl, you start to see images shift and swirl. Maybe it makes sense, or maybe it doesn't make sense. She takes her hand and she dips it in the bowl, and the ripples and the images shift until all you see looking back at you is your own reflection. She invites you to look at her in the eyes, and two of you look at one another and inviting you to ask whatever you may ask, the questions you may have right now on your journey. Where do you need wisdom? She invites you to put your hands on your heart. She puts hers on hers, closing your eyes and tapping into your intuition, your intention, inviting you to put your other hand on your na'au, connecting. What is your intention? And you may have words, or you might just have a feeling or an image. Whatever comes or doesn't come is just right. She takes a moment and bows before you as you bow to her. And she says to you, and so it has begun. And so she smiles at you and gestures, and you know it's time for you to head out. So you walk back through the cave, feeling deeply connected to your heart and your na'au. As you step, you feel that deep wisdom awakened, alive, with a knowing. Walking through the cave, back through the forest, up the zigzag trail, through the meadow, and when you're ready, taking a deep inhale in, pushing open the door and opening your eyes. I'm going to invite you, I'm going to give you just a couple moments to write down anything that came to you during your journey. You can open up your journal page and write any messages, anything from the doorway through the path, through your connection and your time with your wise one in the cave let you go. I'm just going to give you a little bit more time. If you need to, you can pause us too. I'm inviting you now to take your magazines, things you may have, and connect back to that moment in the cave when you had your hand on your heart and on your now, and that intention, that feeling. And just to flip through the magazine now and just really quickly flip through any image or word that pops out that connects to that your body's like, yep, that's it. Or you're feeling an expansion around that, go ahead and rip that out. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is. Don't overthink it. We're really just coming from the place of that deeper wisdom. So you can use scissors. I like to rip things out because it just Feels good.
I like to rip things because it helps me go faster. When I start using scissors, I start like getting really in my head about like, oh, am I cutting this the right way? Is it perfect? So ripping just it helps me like stay in the flow.
Love that, Elizabeth. And so at first I just ripped the pages out, and now I'm ripping out like the actual symbols of the things on the page that I want to keep. So the next piece I do is I just take my pieces and I start to arrange them and start to put them together and see if there are ways for them to move more easily together. And I glue them on. I commit. Ah! Sometimes easy gets stuck into the piece of the ripping up pages forever, but we have to move on and take the action, that next step.
I'm trying to go fast.
What?
I'm trying to go fast. I'm still over here cutting out pieces.
Like, Amber. It's good though, the faster you move, then the less you think. Which is, we're trying to access this, or we are accessing this other side. That doesn't make as much sense. And that you want to be in that space of not thinking. Mm-hmm. And so I'm gluing this on top of the place where I wrote all the things that would get in my way, okay? So I'm actually just collaging right on top of that.
So when you're collaging, Amber, how do you decide where you put the things that you left out?
I just listen, right? So I just move things around until I get like a yes in my body. That's like, yep, this feels good. So it's a feeling. It's not a mental thing. Like I don't think about where color, color contrast or this thing, It's more like, this feels right. Which is such a beautiful connection to spirit too, right? Oh my. All right. So I'll show you what I got going. And it's really funny because I think it's important that you write down the message you got, because I find when I do this work that, what I have collage many times looks nothing like what I saw in my vision, right? So I think it's important just to know that, but it's like a springboard, right? Or if you've ever done like diving in the pool, it's like you're jumping off, that's your jumping off place, and it's not necessarily where you're going to land. Yeah. But there's information. So here's what I have right now for my collage. So now, like the next step, right, here's what I've done now. And so take your time on your collage. But then the next step is going to be to ask your collage, like, what information is there for you? Like here, right? Like, what message are you noticing to pay attention to? Where is your intention showing up here in this collage? Okay. Where are you at, Elizabeth?
I have 3 things glued on my page. Okay, let's see if I can hold up what I've got so far. I might be able to. I just kind of hold some things on, but there you go. That's what I have there.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this. The first page that I opened in the magazine had this on it, which I love. It says, "Set sail with us on a journey that will awaken, nourish, and expand your mind."
Yeah, you should totally take that for marketing. You're like, okay, we're going to add this.
Right?
Don't be surprised if this ends up like on an email to you.
It might, yep.
I love that.
Yeah, and actually it's funny because it did, like when I started, like when you said, okay, we're going to pick things out of the magazine, like there were these certain little bits of the image that I thought like, okay, like I'm going to look for that kind of thing. And like none of that, even some, like I cut some out, I thought I would have circles. And like, so far, none of them have wanted to actually be on it. Every time I put them on it, they're like, no, we are not happy there.
I love that you're saying that. It's so important to listen in the moment, right? And that's such a good metaphor for life, that there are times when you think like what's worked in the past should work now, or like you think things should look a certain way and it just doesn't, right? That's part of working with spirit, is like entering into the mystery, entering into the unknown, and frankly being open to it, right? There's many of us that want a relationship with spirit, but we think spirit has to show up just like this, and it doesn't. And so this is such a great metaphor for that, to be able to open up to see what else is available, yeah, in that space. So I'm gonna keep doing while I'm talking into our next thing, but part of what we do is setting intention. Intention is like an anchor, right, for your practice, for this retreat. If you think about like a boat, right, it puts an anchor down, and then what happens is that it can get like moved around, but it doesn't get thrown all over the ocean, right? It's kind of in one spot, tethered to one spot. It might move a little bit, but it kind of stays in a general area. And that's what you do when you set an intention. Like, for example, if your intention is to create connection with spirit, then everything you look for, everything that you're listening to when you're in these sessions, you're going to be looking for connection with spirit. It's like you're looking through this special lens for that, okay? So part of the intention is to remember to tap back in, right? There's just by even doing this and setting an intention, you can actually not even go back to it at all. And still at the end, you're going to have information will come, right? That was based on that intention. But let's make it like more juicy than that. Let's make it more powerful, more directive, more co-creative. And the way to do that is to pay attention, right? And to know these things. So it can look like, every time that you look at your cover, right? That reminds you of your attention. It can look like, after, you write down the message that you got from the cover, or that you look back at that initial connection you had, just now in the cave. Another practice, which I'm going to invite you to do during this time, is to set a sacred space, right? That will hold your intention, right? So it can be that you can write your intention on a piece of paper and hold it on a sacred space, an altar table, or a space like this. You can also just like create a table kind of like this. You wander around your house. I love to create sacred space like this. Like I have my intention, I wander through my house, and I just pick up the things that I feel like are attached to that intention. And then I bring them all over to my table and I set them up in a way that feels good. Kind of like what we just did with collage, but I do it with sacred objects. So you can find a space to hold your intention during this time together. Now, it can be a table like this. I have one in my bedroom that when I wake up, I look at that first thing in the day. And one right on my bedside table, and that's just like a couple little things together. Next to the kitchen, if you do a lot of dishes, like next to your kitchen sink, like where's the place that you hang out or that you're going to be, that this will help jog that energy, jog the memory of your body to be like, oh, that's right. This is what I'm opening up to. This is what I'm looking for during this retreat. So that's our second, or the practice I'm inviting you into from this space, is be like, all right, we've set our intentions. And then like from now you get to, take your note taking and any sort of ahas and things that come in. You can use the journal to do that. And let's create a physical space that you can see that reminds you throughout the day of your intention.
I love the idea of bringing your intention into your like sacred space and altar space. I love that. I love just like the idea of writing it, but also bringing things that speak to it. Like I always set up a little sacred space with a little thing here. Forgot to light my candle. And usually for me, it's always something that represents the elements, but I love also like the idea of bringing something in that really represents that intention.
Yeah, like on my sacred space right now, I'm doing other things, but this is like my sacred space. I have Wonder Woman to remind me of power, but she's awesome, but she's holding a paintbrush, right? So this is her secret power. Wonder Woman. I have, all sorts of things to remind me to be tender to myself. I have this one, Mommy Baby. Yeah. So what are those things that are going to remind you of your intention? Yeah, and so I would invite you, maybe take a picture of your journal cover and your sacred space and share it. I would love to see that.
Yes, we would love to see and hear what your intention is and see what you created and see your sacred space for the retreat. So we'd love to invite you all to pop over into our Facebook group. You can see the links on the bottom of the session page. So pop over there and share. We love seeing what you created. Here, I got stuff all glued on now so you can see. I can hold it up. So yeah. And Amber, I understand that you have a free gift for everyone. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, I'd love to. Okay, free gift. So as you can tell, I like creativity. It's my thing. So I have a free gift called Take a Retreat, Lead a Retreat. Okay, so this is for you, like really two different areas. Like let's say, for example, you want to take a creative painting retreat. We gotcha, right? I have a 4-part video series. It's takes you step by step through creating a painting, tapping in, not just painting, but tapping in using intention, using paying attention to beauty, paying attention to, so it's actually a creative process that connects you to spirit. Okay, so that's one of the options. And we also have Lead a Retreat. So if you are a woman and if you're feeling called, not just for your own spiritual practice, but you feel like, okay, I want to share this with other people, or I'm feeling called to hold circle or workshops or space like that, then we have leader retreat. So this is where information step by step on all the steps that I use to create workshops and retreats for people. So from total beginners to people who know what they're doing. So the link, I think the link, you've got the link below. Yeah.
Links right below.
Link is below, and you can do one or both. You get to choose. So you can either take an awesome creative retreat for yourself, or you can lead a retreat. And so both of these are valued at over $250, but you get them for free because I love you and I love Elizabeth.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Amber. That sounds super juicy and awesome. I love the idea of nourishing ourselves and then getting to share that with other people. That's awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today. I've really enjoyed this, and I am looking forward to seeing what all of you have created. And yeah.
Welcome. Awesome. I know, I can't wait to see everybody in the Facebook group. Share pictures. We love show and tell. It's awesome.
Yes. I will share a picture of my altar, but I am going to add some things that relate to my intention. So we'll do that first. Awesome. Well, everyone, thanks for being here. Look forward to seeing you on the next session. Blessings.
Bye.